dare you?
Hello.
Oh, hello. Hello.
Good.
You were actually showing me some cool Greta. You were doing something with your synth where you were playing Greta's "How Dare You" on as notes. You were playing that as notes, which is really fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
I was truly amazed when you were doing that.
Yeah, just a new sampling program I have where I can kind of fluidly play with it.
It changes the pitch. You can change the how quick it is. So cool.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. And I really think we should make a whole Greta song. We already have a whole Joe Biden song, so we might as well
we're gonna
add to the repertoire.
We're gonna have plenty of content because.
All right. First things first. CNN is to feature teen climate activist Greta Thunberg in coronavirus town hall. I thought that said coronavirus hell for some reason. I didn't see town, and I read that as hell.
Coronavirus town hell.
Town hell. That's basically what they are at this point. Who the fuck?
What does she have to say?
She's not an expert on this.
Coronavirus.
How dare you?
It's just
gonna
that
shame the virus.
that's all we're gonna get from her, which is so like I don't know who thinks she's any kind of authority on this subject. She's just it's like okay, so CNN has this grab bag, or people who put on town halls have this grab bag of like, or the media in general has a grab bag of like pseudo political celebrities. Like AOC went on Drag Race. Greta's gonna be in this town hall.
I'd almost forgotten about that.
I'm never gonna let you forget. But they just pull from a hat and they're like, who's gonna be on stage today? And it's Greta doing the town hall for CNN, and it's called Coronavirus Facts and Fears. It's gonna be on Thursday on CNN.
Nothing better than the doomsday cultists to stoke some fear with Greta Thunberg.
How dare you?
It's just, what's the point? Hosted by AC360 anchor Anderson Cooper. Oh, his show is called AC360. That's embarrassing. CNN chief medical correspondent Dr. Sanjay Gupta will also include former acting Centers for Disease Control and Prevention director Richard Besser and former health Kathleen Sebelius. Both officials served in the Obama administration.
So we already know what it's going to be.
I know, because you can't get any from the Trump administration to agree to come on your stupid town hall.
I don't think they invite them.
No, they don't. Of course not.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, what are they honestly going to talk about? It's going to be this dumb, nonstop semantic finger pointing of who acted too slow.
Yeah, exactly.
Bullshit. When you could literally,
it's going to be that.
The Spider-Man meme. It's just you could point in every direction on this one. Like everyone failed on this.
And like what? Again, what does Greta have to do with this? What is she going to do? She's from Sweden.
She's just Gio called it the climate potato. She's like a climate potato autist that's just going to. It's for shielding. It's like they use her as a shield.
Of course, it's all she's ever been.
Right.
I think you've said that on the podcast before.
She's a good shield to push her agenda because if you criticize anything she says,
she's just a kid.
Yeah.
How dare you?
They should have brought this guy on.
No nipples.
Oh, he would be. I mean, he's completely sterile,
yes.
So like no germs, no nipples, nothing. Everything is just.
So we get it. Did I ever show you that subreddit where the people cut their balls off?
Yeah, and I hate that you showed that to me.
Yeah.
No. You told me about it, but you said not to go look, and I went to go look.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
It's fucking awful, and we talked about it on this podcast.
Yeah, r/castration.
Yeah, don't go look it up. It's awful.
It's pretty awful.
There's like
it's like a fetish.
Yeah, it is, because people. I don't know. It's just like it's a body modification kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's
because it's not about like not having balls. It's about the aesthetics of like how you start to carry weight differently when you don't have any testosterone and like weird and like
very odd.
Yeah, it's a very odd.
Very odd. It is similar to like extreme. I don't know, extreme body modifications or people being into getting their limbs amputated. It's like. Yeah, that's really, really extreme, but it's in the same vein of things. But there's like a doctor in Mexico they all talk about who does it for like $3,000.
Yeah,
just disconnects your balls.
It's really fucking disturbing.
It's so
the lengths people will go to have sex the way they want to have sex.
Oh, so weird. So I don't even know. Do they have sex? Like that's fucking crazy with each other, or
I don't know. I really don't know.
If you pulled your pants down and you didn't have any balls, I would definitely question it. I'd be like, what the fuck what did you do this?
Yeah.
Or is this just, did they just not descend? What's the deal?
Yeah. And I'd have a lot of explaining to do.
And I'd want you to be honest. And then if you were honest and said, yeah, I got him removed in Mexico for $3,000, I'm out of here. I'd be fucking gone.
Yeah.
If you did that, if you got your balls removed for $3,000,
Speaking
what a way to
people
spend
want
your
to
money.
fuck. Didn't you say people want to fuck Animal Crossing villagers?
Yeah. Pretty recently, of course, the game is so recent. It came out 2 months ago, I think. And obviously new villagers were introduced to the game. A couple of those include, I think Raymond is a new villager and Marshall's a new villager. They're both in, I think Marshall's in Pocket Camp, of course. He's a little blonde squirrel. And then Raymond is a gray cat with a blonde tuft of hair. Actually, if you want to look him up, you could probably find him.
Sure.
But for some reason, the same people who were making jokes about Tom Nook being this extreme capitalist tycoon, this is Raymond, and this is actually what I want to talk about. I'm so glad you brought up this exact post. This is on eBay. Somebody is selling Raymond for $1,000. The same people who called Tom Nook a crazed capitalist who's extorting you for money
They're now doing Animal Crossing capitalism.
are now selling their villagers for $1,000 on eBay.
Jesus.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
Yeah.
And there's another, actually, if you go to nookazon.com, it's Amazon, but Nook instead of, so Nookazon with an A. Nookazon.com. This is like the Amazon for Animal Crossing items. Just type in Raymond in the, so you exchange, the first one. You exchange in-game items on this website for other in-game items, and you can sell villagers, and somebody is selling him for 1,000 Nook Miles tickets. If you scroll all the way up, his average price is 1,000,000 bells, which is like the in-game currency.
Right.
But I know last week we were talking about Gaia Online and how the in-game currency, I know it's not a marketplace that's dictated in-game, it's online here, but Gaia Online was such a microcosm of the fucking weird economy that was so people run but got fucked up because the devs decided to intervene.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of in the same vein of is this villager really worth 1,000,000 bells? And why do you have to sell him? What do you get out of this? 1,000,000 bells in the grand scheme of things is not a lot of money in game, but even considering selling him this way is so weird. And I think people are starting to catch on to the fact that this fucking Tyler Oakley looking ass cat is not worth it.
Do a lot of people want to fuck Tyler Oakley?
No, but people want to fuck this cat. It's a
even
lot of it
worse.
is because people are so obsessed with these new villagers, especially this one. And I'm a little late to the party. This happened probably 3 or 4 weeks ago when people started to catch on to Raymond being hot and wanting to suck his little cat penis.
What's the other one you mentioned?
Marshall. Marshal. Just one L. The first one there.
Oh.
2 million. They're selling him for 2 million or 80 Nook Miles or that's fucking crazy. That is so fucking crazy. This kid looks like fucking Aiden Alexander. He's got the big pursed lips.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy has such a weird Instagram account because it's like a descent into mental illness. You can watch in real time.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna turn this just a little for me.
I found this porn star the other day. It looked exactly like him.
Oh really?
Uh-huh.
Interesting. You'll have to send him to me so I can
Do some
just
research.
make sure that you're being truthful here. But basically, it's so embarrassing that the Animal Crossing community claims to be so pure and innocent, and then we see people selling their villagers for millions of bells,
lots
or
of horny
or drawing
haven't had their dick sucked in a long time. Adults
drawing
are now
fan
playing this
art
game. Yeah.
of Marshall getting topped by
real?
by Raymond. I think I've seen something like that. It's just people.
He plays coy as if he didn't search it out.
I was doing research for this exact segment of the show. I mean, people have made so much fan art of Isabel. So, and I'm talking like explicit fan art of Isabel, because they're just so like weirdly horny
Thirsty, yeah.
for the things that were in their childhood.
What was a high crossover of involuntary celibate people in video game usage, I think?
That's true, yeah. Yeah, but you would think like the people who play Animal Crossing are girls and gays, really.
Is it? I think it
For
seems to
the-
be like everybody now.
The most part, it's girls and gays. I mean, if you looked at like, and what I'm saying is like
Other Nook stats,
Nook stats. What's
we
that?
can find out who's playing the game.
Right, if you go to Nookazon, you can see the demographic. I mean, what the people who are active in the community, like people who like post about Animal Crossing, are mostly girls and gays, from my experience, from what I've seen. I don't see a lot of straight men posting about Animal Crossing. I don't know what it is. Who cares?
Do you follow a lot of straight men?
No, I guess you're right there. I guess that's a fucking touche right there. But like, I don't know. It's so weird that people are so quick to do that, to defile their villagers like that. I don't know. He's weird. So Raymond is so weird, and I hate him. I hate that villager. If he moved into my town, I would delete my island.
Right.
Because I don't want anything to do with the Raymond drama.
The impure Animal Crossing.
I don't
area.
want anything to do with it. I tried to buy a villager for $1,000. The custom officers at the Hanoi airport were having it. Always wet blankets, those guys. Bidding on villagers at Nookazon reminds me a lot of bidding for girls at Little St. James.
Little Santiago.
Damn, you guys should have taken over this segment. You guys are a lot funnier than I could have been.
Jacob says, I can't take anyone seriously who talks bad about capitalism on $1,000 phone. Yeah, that's kind of a meme a little bit.
It is, but I want to say something about that.
Sure.
Just because we criticize capitalism does not mean we don't exist within it.
Right.
We're forced to pay rent. We're forced to have cell phones to talk to our families and friends.
I would argue, though, just simply that neither of us are interested in dismantling capitalism
Of course,
altogether.
it can be restructured a little,
Yeah.
but yeah, there are definitely some faults with it.
It's just,
but
I mean, just in the sense of like, there's just such a massive divide of wealth.
there's a huge gap. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And like capitalism needs to accommodate people that aren't.
Who cannot succeed
Yeah.
in,
Which is a lot
Yeah.
of fucking people.
yeah, who are not given the tools to succeed in life in the way that capitalism demands that you do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's kind of all I have to say
Yeah. We're,
on Tyler Oakley and Aiden Alexander.
we're going to struggle to get to an hour on this one. We're excited about the Steve Cox interview next week.
Yeah, so if you guys don't follow us on Twitter, we announced there that we are going to be interviewing Steve Cox, who's running as independent for the 39th District of California for Congress.
I think he lost. But
What, really?
Yeah, I think that
Did it already happen?
I think it happened back in March.
God, shows how much I know. I'm
Well,
such a fucking doof.
We thought he was in our district, or I did, but I
Mhm.
looked. He's like a little bit to the east of us, and where we live is kind of a strange. The lines are drawn kind of strange for where
Mhm.
we are. But he's going to be interesting to talk to, just because I have a lot of questions for somebody like him, who number
course.
one like chooses to go into the political space. Like, why would you want to do that?
Right.
I prefer kind of being a part of the pundit class. I feel like I have to sacrifice most of my life. But the other part of it is he just is so burn it down. Like, he's not really interested in being friends with anybody,
Mhm.
which is interesting too. I want to ask him quite a bit about that.
Yeah, so we're planning to do that next Wednesday, so a week from now. If you guys have questions for him, I guess we'll be live streaming it, of course, but I guess I can sort of moderate the comment section and sort of see if anybody's asking anything for him, and I can post those questions.
Yeah.
So yeah, think of some questions for next week. Even if you have some now, we can write them down. But yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to it.
I'm too. I think what blew me away about it was just asking him. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. He was so quick to like immediately follow you back and
Mhm.
reply to your DM.
Mhm.
Just so crazy to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a very cool guy, and he seems very open to interacting with people on Twitter.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Very open.
I framed the asking of him just by saying like, hey, this won't be a particularly hostile interview or anything. He's like, you can be. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm an open book. I'll answer any question. But yeah, no, I'm interested about it. Jacob asks, what do you think about people being mad schools will probably be closed for the fall semester? A lot of conservatives are mad they will probably be online.
Well, actually, my school just closed for fall semester.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are
They
gonna
just
follow
announced
suit.
it. All of the CSU system closed, the Cal State University system. So Long Beach will be online next semester, and I'm sort of rethinking my my. What are you so smiling at?
And yeah, no needs comment.
Oh, but I'm rethinking the value of my time there right now. I think I'm able to take an academic leave for 3 years and come back with no penalty or whatever. Of course, time is the penalty, but I'm still admitted to the school if I take a leave of absence for 3 years max. So I'm rethinking that right now. But I don't know. I don't think it's really a conservative or liberal thing to be mad about, because I'm upset by it, and I'm by no means a conservative, and like, of course that's anecdotal, but it's really just, we can't change the decision that they've made, and
That's the weird thing about all this, which does get into the thing I want
not
to talk
being
about.
being totally out of control
But
of this.
but trusting these people to make decisions
Mhm.
that are in total violations of our rights,
Mm-hmm. Right.
like it should be your right to go out and get sick. That should be your right to do that.
Mhm.
It's a choice you can make. Like, I think considering we still know so little about this seemingly, which, I mean, it's hard to not even go down the conspiracy rabbit hole of that, of, do you really know so little? You know what I mean, with these
Yeah.
people? The only bit of mystery that I've really seen or heard is this blood coagulation thing that's causing like problems.
That's fucking scary.
But
the thing with them like making these decisions for us, based on like, you can't go out because you'll get sick, it's like, that is technically like protected under the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. It's like there's the national welfare is built into this document that sort of is like an all-encompassing. The government has power if the national welfare is at stake. So that the health of everybody is at stake.
but is it anymore?
I know, that's the thing.
And
But
then
they
we
still
just-
have the power to do it to us.
And then Newsom just announced that he's keeping LA closed till, not Newsom. It wasn't Newsom. It was, but he's all involved. That's the thing, is like, you see how quickly these mayors play boy king when they realize that they have this much power.
Yeah.
And that the strange thing too is like governors that have acted more aggressively, their approval ratings have gone way up just based on that alone. So
There's incentive to act aggressively towards this.
exactly.
So
And I think
yeah.
like keeping us locked down till August is insane.
it is. I was just saying to my sister, we were talking via text. So Florida, my sister lives in Florida. They're completely opening back up. Of course, like restaurants have their capacity at 25%, but the thing is, like, everything's opening back up over there, even though they didn't really exercise any kind of shutdown at all. Like my sister had like friends over, and they really have not had like a crazy amount of cases. It's just like, oh, did I just incriminate my sister by saying she had people over? I don't know. But, I mean, they're open now, so who knows when she had people over. But the thing is, like, Florida is sort of back to normal, and they're making these decisions as time goes on. Whereas here in California, announcing like yesterday or the day before that we're going to be closed for the next 3 months still. Can't we wait until the end of May to maybe close off June, and then end of June to close off July? Like, why can't we look at it that way? And I think you're right. There is incentive to act so aggressively, but I think people are going to get tired of it very quickly.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the thing, is like all this, this unemployment and the Trump bucks are basically just to keep people from killing. I mean, like they're literally paying you because they're scared of you.
Yeah.
Which is like a really strange position to be in.
They're also gaslighting us into thinking it's not already our money.
Right.
When we paid it in taxes like last year.
Well, and then California now has a massive budget deficit.
Right.
Like basically, or like rather, the money they had, they've just totally blown it up. And so for a state also was already pretty broke to begin with. So it's
Yeah.
I don't really know what they think the long game is on this, because it's
Right.
like, look, dude, like, you can be popular now, but it's like if the entire economy of the state collapses, you're not going to be very popular for very long.
As of as of right now, the California, like the CARES Act that is giving us an additional $600 on top of our unemployment per week, that only is through July. I think it's like July 5th.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to extend that if they keep things closed through August.
Mm-hmm.
But they haven't done that. They haven't announced that, at least. So I don't know. I worry that we'll reach that point and we'll be at such a deficit that they won't be able to give us that money again.
I don't think they will.
And things will get bad.
There's a Democrat bill that I think they're going to vote on Friday. It's another $3 trillion. And, of course, it's just packed with a bunch of stupid horseshit.
Right, of course. Half of that $3 trillion is going to go to fucking the military.
And in some other dumb
and
projects of the Democrats.
Title IX.
It's a Democrat
things,
bill, so it'll get nuked. But I think, the possibility
That's
of getting another Trump bucks check is relatively probable at this point. I think.
Of course. And, I mean, Trump has every reason to want to do that because it's going to ensure his reelection.
Right.
Even though he already has it. Because Biden's going to die.
Well, I'm interested right now because there's been a huge dip in senior support for Trump. Yeah.
Wow.
Which is a kind of an important demographic because they actually vote.
Yeah.
Because they have nothing better to do. So I don't really know what's. I'm not. I mean, it seems likely that Trump will just, like I said, on golden roller skates, just cruise into re-election. But I guess there's. I mean, the problem is 2016. If it taught us anything, is that we can't trust any polls or.
No, of course not.
You can look at aggregates, I guess, or I think the two things that are useful to look at are aggregates or. Vegas odds. Those are the two things that actually are
right, like betting on who's gonna win.
Yeah, because they're the ones who are probably gonna do much more research than somebody like Nate Silver, who got everything fucking wrong in 2016. Yeah. The most unfortunate looking man on the planet. But yeah, so
did you say he looks unfortunate?
Oh, dude,
I don't think I've ever.
It's
seen
not
it.
It's his fucking haircut. It's really
just
brutal.
Although. Right now, so last week when we watched a clip of just shave it.
He wouldn't look like such a like this one here.
He would be fine if he just got rid of it.
It's such an unfortunate way of balding as well. But he's just
at that point.
This is recent. I remember.
What?
Wait, where'd it go?
You're zoomed in. Yeah.
It's just what is going on here?
That's crazy.
I think there's just so much stuff going on in terms of what's actually the numbers of deaths aren't really reflective, and then in the media that's kind of anti-Trump is really running with look at how many cases there are, but we're also doing a lot more testing. I got rid of his face.
Yeah, thank you. He's looking right at us this whole time.
So it's you can't really trust the cases number. It's all I'm really paying attention to are the deaths, and I think we're at about 80,000 as of today.
Mm-hmm.
Which it's horrible, but it's at the same time, but then you hear a lot of conversation about how people are getting it largely from being inside with other people.
Right.
So
well, I mean, either you shut everything down completely and nobody leaves their houses, or you just let everybody go out. You know, because at this point, my roommate still. Well, actually, I don't know if he's still working, but. He for the last few weeks was working every day, and I'm not worried about it. I'm sure he's protecting himself just fine, but that's interaction with a lot of other people, and him coming back to me, and then me coming over to you, and then me going to my parents, and you going to your parents. It's if things are still open, we're never gonna stop we can flatten the curve, but we're never gonna stop infections.
That's the thing I don't understand what we're doing anymore. It just seems like. Yeah. I mean, how long are we going to do this?
Yeah,
and
it's never going to end. I mean, until because we don't even know where the peak of this curve is going to be.
Right. We said we've given all these dates of when that's supposed to be and all this kind of stuff. And can you read a few comments?
Yeah, of course.
Noni's comment here.
My state opened up and I already have appointments booked this weekend. It's crazy how fast some states are moving forward while others are committed to extending this into the summer. Nate Plastic hasn't been right about anything since 1998. They're saying the two special election that the GOP won yesterday is a bellwether for the November election. GOP flipped a seat.
Maybe. I think one of them was Katie Hill's seat, which was like a special election. She was the woman who did all the dykey shit on camera and then like was smoking the bong and she had her tit out and stuff. Remember that? The whole
I
thing that went
don't
down?
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they kind of forced her to resign, even though I don't really give a shit that she did that. Who cares? And then it was like, I think she was having like there was like another weird picture where a staffer was like cutting her hair while she was like sitting on a couch naked. It just like weird person or like weird choices to make if you're a member of Congress. But the funny thing about that special election though was that Cenk Uygur was running for the seat as well, and like all of like all of his hubris about thinking people actually care about the Young Turks, and he came in like a distant fourth. Like people could just not be fucked up for him.
I remember that.
That's that seat. That's Katie Hill's seat. But I think largely that one was, I was tracking that one pretty closely, and I kind of expected it to go for a Republican because the area, the district is like parts of what city is where Magic Mountain is?
Oh fuck. I mean it's out east, isn't it?
That's like part of the district.
Yeah, I don't remember. Or like Six Flags, is that in the same area?
That's what I meant to say. Let's see here. Katie Hill. Let me find her district.
I don't know if it's gonna be the same Katie.
Congress? Maybe I have her name wrong.
Congress. It might be Katie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
See. Yeah, okay. 25th Congressional District.
That's going to be cities of Palmdale, Santa Clarita, Lancaster, Simi Valley, and part of the northern San Fernando Valley.
Which is pretty conservative already.
Yeah.
California's a weird state in this way. Like, people kind of think that LA is representative of a lot of it. It's kind of similar to Oregon. Like, Portland is not a representative of Oregon at all.
Right.
So... Let's see here. Hello, Waffles.
Hi, Waffles.
Hi
Said hi a
again.
few times. Hello. We'll say hi to you.
I sent Corona. Just okay.
Don't look up the pics of Katie Hill. Nasty. I hope she didn't show up in our Google search.
It's not that bad. I don't know. I just don't really give a shit that kind of like the Al Franken thing. I just thought it wasn't enough to kick him out.
Of course.
I mean, she was annoying, but like.
I was saying in terms of getting us struck down while we're broadcasting to maybe see like her tits out.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, I think that would have been unwise. So speaking of coronavirus, still unfortunately, this Trump tweet today, which I found interesting.
Yeah, as I've said for a long time, dealing with China is a very expensive thing to do. We just made a great trade deal. The ink was barely dry, and the world was hit by the plague from China. 100 trade deals wouldn't make up the difference, and all those innocent lives lost.
So he's ramping this back up.
Yeah, plague from China, the Chinese plague.
So, yeah, this is obviously like a strategic thing.
Yeah,
because he's been kind of tepid on ramping up the rhetoric against China until today, which is when I saw this one, and like this is probably the most incendiary ones he's sent. I think this calling it the plague from China is worse than calling it the Chinese virus in terms of severity.
Right.
So, and then the fact that he's talking, this is almost like I think the prerequisite for doing what Germany's doing and asking for reparations.
Yeah, I have a feeling that we're gonna get something like that.
This one feels like a threat.
While. Yeah.
Or just like, and like I was talking to Neononi about this. Like, I don't really believe in the 4D chess thing or anything, but
no, I don't either.
I do think that he's a very good troll, like on just online in general. And I think
I don't think he can help it. That's just how he kind of is.
Yeah, I don't think he can help it, but he's also tremendously good at it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of unreal.
He's encouraged to do it by the amount of attention he gets from each tweet.
Yeah.
I saw one the other day that had like 500,000 likes. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that many people are even online. They're on the internet at the same time.
What was it?
Fuck, I don't remember. It was I think it was the Obamagate one.
Oh yeah, Obamagate. Yeah, that one started a huge firestorm because it took me a while to figure out what that was actually about. And it seems
we
like
should probably mention it.
Yeah, from what I can gather, it's largely about the Fast and Furious scandal, which is when Obama and Eric Holder sent a fuckload of guns down to Mexico in order to quote unquote track them so they could track cartel movements. but then basically just ended up arming the Sinaloa cartel.
Right. They completely lost track of the guns, and they just ended up in the hands of a cartel.
The reason why the Obamagate hashtag went so wild was that on 4chan and the QAnon thing, they were saying that he should tweet hashtag Obamagate, and then like within an hour he did it. So it's like one of those things of like,
Yeah.
It could have been a coincidence. I mean, the thing with the QAnon thing is like how many things is it like how the confirmation bias from people of where they'll predict one thing correctly, which is largely just because they were paying attention to what was going on, or they get a bunch of shit wrong, but that all gets dismissed as they don't talk about it anymore. So,
a combination of those two. They predict a million things, and one of those million things is slightly correct, and they're like, "Oh fuck yeah, we were right."
Right. So Fast and Furious is part of it. It's also about we do know that they wiretapped like when Trump was going crazy about getting wiretapped, Obama wiretapped me. Everyone's like, what a fucking moron. They did.
Yeah. I mean, presidents have done it in the past.
Right. It's just very unethical. And there also is kind of supposed to be this agreement of peaceful transfer of power.
Yeah.
And Obama was fucking aggressive. I mean, the opposite of peaceful transfer. And granted, like to the person that was replacing him just had humiliated him so greatly. And
even
buddy Hillary
in this Obama, the Fast and Furious thing, even the Mexican president, Obrador is looking into it. They're investigating.
Yeah.
That shit. That's fucking crazy.
Well, and it should. I mean, it's such a massive scandal.
Of course.
I mean, it's
but nobody wants to talk. Nobody on the left really wants to talk about it.
I mean,
or they'll dismiss it as, oh, this is some Trump lie again, and it's like, no.
Right.
Is it?
Yeah. And so the spying, the FISA warrants, which were gross. We talked about them on another episode.
Yeah.
And then there's one, and then the General Flynn thing too, which is weird. So the annoying part is like, Obama's people and all around, they're all calling this like a miscarriage of justice by pardoning Flynn. But then there's another general that Obama did the exact same shit with, like pardoned him. So it's just like, really, I mean, despite no matter what you think about Trump, like Obama's legacy is just such dog shit.
Right.
And like what a feckless failure.
I mean, luckily in hindsight, most people realize that, unless you're fucking insane. But most people realize that even though he was like the president of change, he was fucking bombing innocent lives in the Middle East every day.
We literally ran out of bombs and then almost escalated the war in Syria to involving us.
He was clandestinely like bad, a little bit evil, like in the amount of people he killed. And we realize that now. But when I was like, I was probably like from age 12 to 18, I was under the impression that he was a great president.
Well, I mean, he didn't fulfill a single campaign promise.
I didn't even know that. And that's the thing. Like, I was so blinded to believe that he was so good because he was this Democrat and like progressive, and it doesn't hold up. Looking back, like I was so politically asleep.
Right. I mean,
and many people were.
I think the thing too, just about it, like his legacy too, is you think about this shooting that happened in Georgia, and again, like I don't have an opinion about it, but it's that thing of so much of whenever these kind of like racial things get escalated with black folks and white folks, it always turns into something needs to be done more for us. And it's like, if we had a black president for 8 years and he didn't do shit for you guys, what is it exactly that needs to be done? Because I can't really think of a more like what position needs to be earned or gained in order. I just don't understand what there is left to do really. Because if you guys were holding out for reparations or something, if the first black president didn't give them to you, you're not getting shit. So, and he also fucked your healthcare, and now it's more expensive, and you have to be in network and all this other horse shit we never had to deal with before, and didn't give you a public option. Didn't de-escalate and get out of the Middle East. He escalated it hardcore. Escalated tensions with Russia when he said he promised he would de-escalate that, and like made Romney into a joke.
Mm-hmm. Hey, did we play that K-Hive Zoom chat on this podcast?
I don't know.
Do you remember? You sent it to me. It was like 6 black people.
I don't think so. No.
one gay man and like 5 women talking
I think we intended to play
about Kamala Harris and how Joe Biden owes them Kamala Harris as the VP because they've supported him for so long.
Right.
I wonder how they're doing. Do you think they're still going strong? Of like he's got to bring Kamala on as his VP.
Let's find out.
It was called like what was it? K-Hive something.
Neononi says
it's just the K-Hive.
Obama was an extension and exaggeration of Bush. The fact that people pretend otherwise is insane. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's just see if like they just what was it? K-Hive podcast.
Maybe K-Hive podcast. Yeah. It was on Twitter. Here we go.
Just
Live with the K-Hive.
Just one episode.
Wait, really? No, there has to be more.
Black women views.
Yeah, let's go to the channel. Oh my god. Oh my god, they post so much.
I mean, it's just so like
Wait, no. Where's the rest of the K-Hive?
They have a 4th episode.
They have 4 episodes. What are they talking about for an hour and 26 minutes?
Everybody's live with the K-Hive. It's Drew Comments here, chilling with the rest of K-Hive, here to talk about all things Kamala, all things wonderful. Here sipping with a little vodka and lemonade, you know how I do. And we're just going to go ahead and go around and introduce the rest of K-Hive, just in case you haven't seen us in the first few episodes. Make our acquaintance once more. How you doing, Heather?
What's up, y'all? I'm back, and I brought some Kentucky lemonade.
Are they just going to introduce their drinks for the first 5 minutes?
That's probably what they're going to do.
Nice. I see. All right, then. Maya, how you feeling?
I'm pretty good. A little tired, but this white wine's going to wake me up. And Maya Contreras, and it's good to see you all again.
No cap. Feeling that. Yo, see what it
Let's.
do.
Can we? Yeah.
You want to go forward?
Yeah, jump ahead a little bit. See what they actually.
And they're not giving the money back. So it's this. I'm so glad that you brought this up because it's absolutely critical that they're this 3rd time around. Hopefully,
What's
is the
critical?
charm.
You pretty much said the same thing that I was going to say. But literally,
they need
took a right out
sassy
mouth,
gay
but it's
one.
Cool. But I want a lot of people to understand.
King of
that
clapbacks.
Can you imagine?
I think that's the same guy who like fucking lost his shit over Bernie.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That guy who's like screaming
he was, like,
at his phone.
apoplectic.
Yeah, I think that's the same guy.
Let's check that out. Hang on a second.
At King of Clapbacks. Dab, if you have a way to
Solve
end
racism.
end all racism, please, by all means, we trust you. We put it into your hands. What is it? Yeah, King of Clapbacks. I think this is I'm gay/black and don't give a fuck. That's on period.
How could you love Kamala Harris this much? I just don't.
When she hates you so much.
Let's see.
She's such like a. Oh
God.
I don't. This is all he does though. He just like. Or actually, I mean, it's what he used to. I don't know if he still does.
I mean, it doesn't look like he's slowed down at all.
No.
Let me
he's
find
posting so much.
Max Bernie.
I wonder if we'll find it.
Yeah,
it's scary how angry he gets. Like you said, apoplectic is what he get real, Joe. Today we are drinking coffee. Well, I just finished mine.
Here he is.
Bad trade agreement, the Iraq war, blah, 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 blah. Who gives a fucking shit?
Who gives a fuck about foreign policy? Who cares at all? A brain-dead Kamala stan. That's who.
Oh, my God.
You keep talking about shit that happened 20, 30 years ago before many of our motherfucking asses was even born. We don't give a shit.
But I guarantee you he's going to bring up slavery.
Seemed like this whole debate was about the past versus looking towards the future. Every time that Joe Biden wanted to talk about what he wanted to do, here comes Bernie Sanders bringing up the fucking past. It's obvious that you're desperate.
I wish gay people weren't this fucking embarrassing sometimes. It's just because there's something about putting like a female like cunty attitude into a man just makes it even more infuriating.
Yeah. And it's really sad to see all these things happen to you. You know, he talked about how, you know, Joe Biden gets money from billionaires. However, you can only donate $2,800 a month. So
Joe Biden is being supported by 17 billionaires.
I mean, you're acting like this man was funded. And here's the real thing. Joe Biden was broke as hell during Super Tuesday. What the hell is Bernie Sanders talking about? He keeps talking about all this money.
He didn't do any research.
None.
He
has no fucking idea what he's talking about.
Vote. This person votes.
And votes vehemently.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders spent over $45 million compared to Joe Biden and still lost. And, you know, it's kind of disgusting and a little sad a little bit to try to use the coronavirus as a political tactic to try to push Medicare for all. I think it was really disgusting.
It's It's the exact moment that he should have doubled down
Agreed.
on Medicare for all.
Yeah, this person's incredible.
Bernie Sanders do that because this is a real crisis, and playing games with people, that ain't the way to do it, because his Medicare for all bill won't be passed until 4 years. So we need stuff now. And right now, you're literally looking at Italy, who has a single payer healthcare system, and their ass is in crisis in the lockdown. So
That literally. All right, this is too much stupid. I can't.
Yeah, we're fucking losing our minds over this guy. Is such a fucking dingus.
Yeah.
But
he gets traction.
he sure does, and his K-Hive podcast was doing really well.
How many views did it have?
429.
Yeah, I think it was pretty funny. I speaking of that kind of thing, and obviously I'm not somebody who would knock a small audience.
No, of course not. I'm making a joke about it because we're small.
But this one was interesting in the sense, well, because you have to think that's about the views we'll get on like a video of ours that kind of gets like mid-level traction, like not kind of the normal amount. And there's also 8 people plugging that podcast, and not just 2 people.
That's true.
And so, I'm sure the gay black Nazi that we just saw, he probably has a large audience that he's blasting it out to, and only that many people watched it. The funniest one that I saw was Megan Rapinoe started a podcast.
No way.
And she was not breaking 1,000 views, even when she interviewed AOC and like any of these people. It's just no one likes her. I think that even the ones that are like Yas Queen really just
that is so
don't care for
embarrassing.
her at
Megan
all.
Rapinoe.
Yeah.
We should go on her podcast. Have her on ours. We could promote hers.
Megan Rapinoe. Yeah. I don't think she'd like me very much.
So Dab just solved racism. I don't know if you read this comment.
I would like to.
So brown is just a darker version of orange, and so is what we call white. So basically, we're all the same color orange.
There you go. Solved it.
Thank you, Dab. That is fucking. That was profound. I think actually from now on I'm going to call myself Orange.
He kind of sounds like the hide your kids, hide your wives guy. Yeah, well, it's just like there's something about there's like the clap back black gay men that are either some of my favorite people on earth or some of my least favorite.
It's interesting.
It's like it's when they're kind of like relegated to like performance and drag culture, like the good parts about being gay that make kind of interesting art, they're amazing. But it's like when they become when any gay person becomes an activist, they become so fucking nauseating.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they like play it up too much, and then like I don't know, they become that.
Whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
So while all this shit is going on and we're all distracted with shit that doesn't really matter, this happened.
Right. I'm so glad you saw this because I just read it right before we went on the pod. This is an amendment to something. It's a bill that they were trying to pass. And the bill is basically, so if it were to pass, it would be, it would remove your internet and search history from the scope of authority to access certain business records for foreign intelligence and international terrorism investigations, which is basically like they can look at our call records and like that 2-person rule, or like, what is that? What is that? 2-hop rule. It's basically the same thing. You're giving up that information to the government to be able to pin you as a foreign terrorist. And the amendment did not pass. So our information, our search information is going to be available to the government because it did not reach a 3/5 majority.
Right.
It was so close to getting it.
It only passed by one vote is what saved it.
1 vote. And if you scroll down, you can see Bernie Sanders didn't vote.
Thanks, Bernie.
Thanks, Bernie. You could have fucking helped us
on something that's really incredibly important.
This
for
is
our
unbelievably
future.
important.
But rather you would rather be on Biden's task force.
Although, look, we've got some pretty big names up there. We've got Cory Booker.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Ted Cruz.
We've got the Klobuchar coming
We've
in.
got Klobuchar. We've got who else is in there? Elizabeth Warren. Yeah, some really big names up in here, which is surprising to see. But if you look in the bottom, you see Dan Feinstein.
Mm-hmm.
You see Mitt Romney, Marco Rubio. These are people who voted no so that they can keep our information. I'm just surprised to even like Tim Kaine.
Yeah.
I'm surprised to see some of these names, but it's so clear. Wait, there's somebody in Congress whose last name is Whitehouse?
No way. I guess so.
From Rhode Island? Who the fuck is that? But yeah, thank you, Bernie, for letting us down. You are the one person who could have stopped.
It's just like
this.
that thing of like it's like every day he just achieves his final form of our
Disappointment.
generation's biggest disappointment.
Right, he keeps evolving.
Because it's like, considering every choice that he's made since the last debate, it's like, did you ever have convictions to begin with?
Right.
Because you're not really standing by any of them.
It's such a bummer, dude. I was so happy to... Sheldon Whitehouse is a tool. Oh, his name is Sheldon?
God, that is the most country club fucking name. Boat shoes wearing, Lacoste polo.
Pleased to meet you.
My name's Sheldon Whitehouse.
My name's Sheldon Whitehouse. Although he's from Rhode Island, I don't think he's going to sound like a Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
Yeah, who knows? But maybe they wanted some kind of good old boy affect to vote for him.
Just so sad. So sad that this is what we've got.
Yeah.
Ugh. I don't know. I thought he had just disappeared entirely, that he wasn't going to do stupid shit like this. He was going to blend back in. But I don't know. It feels like he went out of his way to not vote on this because he's one of 4 people who didn't vote.
Right.
Or maybe he has COVID.
Well, yeah, he got it from Joe Biden's coronavirus task force or whatever election
Oh,
task
the task force.
which
the squad.
the squad. Well, yeah, then AOC's on that as well. It's just that all of them just sold out. It completely sold out.
Yeah.
And then I think we talked about it, but like the Justice Democrats, the ones who got AOC elected,
It started a super PAC.
started a super PAC.
Really fucking cool because it's what we've known all along, is that it's just all about the money.
Oh yeah,
Just money to get somebody elected and money to put in your pocket.
yeah.
Neon Oni commented earlier about a 103-year-old woman and a 90-year-old woman, or 90-year-old person, I forget, who both of them got released from the hospital after surviving COVID. Is that
Jesus.
real?
Yeah. No, well,
That
yeah,
sounds fucking crazy.
They've had a few really old people that have survived it.
And they are, I feel like, the exception to the rule.
Right. And I think that again, the numbers of men are just much more ravaged by this, and so I think that
I
they're-
read somewhere that it's because men don't wash their hands.
Dude, honestly, I have to admit, when I see the people them talking like that, I'm like, this is some fucking feminist propaganda. Like, it's because I think there is something biological about it, and like,
Sure.
I mean, they're saying it gets stored in the fucking testes. Like, there's something that is like really particular to
It's
male.
because men are just always touching their junk and it seeps into their balls.
Yeah, it's what is that called? It's
They've got COVID on their hands.
Dermal transmission.
Yeah, they've got COVID on their hands and it like slime. They touch their balls and then it seeps in and that's how it gets into the testes.
Yeah,
That is 100% medical truth.
it's been so funny to watch like just feminists trying to save their cause during all this.
Yeah, good try, but not gonna happen.
I mean, because again, it's like the strongest force you had was the Me Too movement, which is just proven to be exactly what we all knew it was,
Well,
which was an aggressive, a weapon used by the DNC.
and now we know it means nothing because nobody cares that Joe Biden got Me Too.
Right.
And rightfully so. He's a creep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like we have all these obvious pictures. I mean, the ones I put in the jumping on my lap video are just him sniffing people and being fucking weird. It's like obviously the dude's got kind of like just at the very least a boundary issue, and then whether or not he actually finger blasted this woman, I don't really know. But kind of like with Kavanaugh, like I'm like I just don't. The thing with this kind of stuff is like, look, if it happened, then you should be in trouble, so kind of way. But I'm like, the public shouldn't be handling this information. It's just like, this is not.
Yeah.
To me, like this kind of stuff just isn't up for like the court of public opinion. It's gross.
Yeah, it's social court now. Twitter is sort of where you get the guilty verdict, even if it's without any kind of jurisdiction.
Right. Yeah, and I don't know. Like so, and then again, it's I don't know. And then everyone's like finger pointing at everybody else, and it's like I don't know. I think that like you can't really have grown up in Trump or Biden's generation or Bernie's or whatever. Although Bernie seems to be spotless in this department, but like
except for that essay he wrote.
Oh yeah, about like
fantasy.
Yeah, like BDS, like wasn't it like BDSM stuff or something strange?
Yeah, it was something like that. But it's like fucking. We were all horny back then. I would have written a fan fiction that was. Maybe I did. Who knows? It might still be out there if you can find it. Of just sexual stuff. Like, of course he wrote like a fucking sex book.
But my point that I was saying was like, you don't reach almost 80 years old, and this is true of all of them, and like have lived in a certain generation where like someone couldn't have found something that you did
Yeah.
inappropriate. And it's kind of like why I don't really want these things like if the Me Too movement was really about any kind of compassion or caring about women, it would have been like, okay, like you'll be handled with a more compassionate, it's going to socially kind of suck, but you'll be handled with more compassion if you choose to go to the police to report what happened to you.
Yeah.
But this idea of like weaponizing it for power or gain, which is what it, even back in Kavanaugh, I was screaming about it because I'm just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And if you want to like compare Ford or the Tara Reade woman, it's like Ford had much less evidence than Tara Reade does, but even Tara Reade's evidence is like not quite good enough. It's like, well, my mom called Larry King, and you look at it, you listen to it, and there's no defining. She doesn't say Biden. Like, how do we know this is your mother? Like, basically every bit of evidence they have is kind of just flimsy at best.
Right.
And like with both of them, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I'm just saying, like, is this? Do you think this is good enough to? Like, and what are you trying to accomplish? Like, that's the thing I don't really understand. I think what's been interesting about it is like you have the right wing running with it just from the hypocrisy angle.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have like the disaffected left running with it, and so it's like, it's just weird. It's like them kind of teaming up for this, and it's like at a certain point. And Red Mage made the comment of getting gaslit over the dementia thing, because the dementia is the much more glaring issue than this. But it's like, why does this have more legs than him obviously losing his goddamn mind? And it just goes to show that none of this, it's like, why this election is so fucking boring and there's just no fucking integrity in it. And like, at the very least, like, Trump's amusing. So it's like, and I at this point, it's like a Biden presidency would just be miserable. I don't want it.
It would be sad.
Yeah, it would be so sad and miserable. And then like they'd foist some fucking woman on us, probably Kamala Harris, who's going to be his running mate.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you look at like the daily briefings that Trump has been doing or did over this COVID stuff, like, imagine Biden in that place. I can't. He would not do longer than 10 minutes on one of those, even though Trump is doing them for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fucking scary.
You want to read some of these comments?
Sure. My name is Sheldon Whitehouse. I only shop at Banana Republic. Dab says, OMG, not only have I single-handedly solved racism, I also found we all have the same hair color. We're all redheads. I don't want to be a leprechaun. Dab, I love you.
I do too.
Don't ever change. Jacob says, COVID is a bioweapon. Feminists are clowns.
Did we talk about the bioweapon thing?
We have.
Where I just said that, like, whether or not it got released on purpose, we'll never really know. But the fact that Chinese people were buying PPE here and shipping it back over to China while they were lying to us about it, they made it into a bioweapon.
They turned it into one, yeah. Whether intentional or not, it became one. Because
they weaponize it in this way. And I don't know if I mentioned on this one of, like, there's people that go, why would China infect their own citizens? And I'm like, guys, not even 70 years ago, and just, it's something that we never learned about in school, which is amazing to me, was the Great Leap Forward, which was a state-created famine in China by Mao that killed conservatively 60 million Chinese people in a span of less than 4 years.
Yep.
So if you think that China, a largely communist, the state is God, believes about the individual, they don't. They're all about the collective. And so leaders caring about bodies, they just don't. They don't. It's a totally different mindset.
Right. I mean, there's still evidence of that right now, of them having fucking factories where they pay. I think these exact words, but having factories of hundreds of Chinese workers getting paid pennies a day, because they just value their people so little over the profits that they can make off of them.
Right.
And that's why so many companies here outsource to China to make their technology, to make their whatever, make their clothing, because it's so much cheaper. The labor is cheaper there because they care so little about human life over there.
And we've obviously exploited this.
Sure.
Apple's going to send, I think, 25% of their manufacturing to Vietnam. And then I think some of it to India as well, which it will be interesting.
Yeah, but also how much better is that? I mean, it might be a slightly more expensive labor, but I don't imagine it's too much.
I mean, like, how the people end up getting paid is one question. I think the other one is, like, though, at the very least, do we want such a massive partner in the world that is completely unreliable? And
of course.
And so it's like we've kind of built this monster now with China, and now we now have a giant existential threat because of what we created.
We're paying the price for that.
let's see.
Did you guys see Biden questioned about General Flynn on George Stephanopoulos?
No.
No.
Mark James says boring is better than what's happening.
It depends on who you ask.
To each their own. Yeah. Yeah. There's that.
And there's the downvote because we said that.
Yeah, it's like anything, like, because that's a funny thing is like if you say anything that's just not crisis mode about Trump, they assume that you love him, and it's like no, it's just exactly what we deserved.
Yeah, it's true. We need to be punished a little bit.
Yeah, and grant the presidency to a guy who wants the country to look like a ZZ Top video.
Right. Oh. I actually, Gio, I did see this. I think you actually tweeted about it. I saw the clip. Biden denies knowing anything about the investigation
which
on
is
Flynn.
Bullshit.
Then Stephanopoulos says he was in the room. Then Biden says, oh, yes, I did know about the investigation. That's right. Yeah. I do remember seeing that clip on Twitter. I think because you tweeted it, Gio. So thank you for that. But fucking, jeez, dude, you just forgot. China said they're going to test all 11 million people living in Wuhan. Watch them report like 20 cases out of that 11 million. I mean, of course, we have no reason to believe their numbers right now.
There's also been like all those strange, like the 20 million cell phones getting deactivated, the urns that people had an opportunity to film a little bit that were coming into Wuhan. So I mean, at this point, China's lied so much. It's like, will we really rely on any of their numbers or how much they've contained this?
Right. We have no reason to.
And we obviously probably have like intelligence there, but then who the fuck trusts that either? It's like,
yeah, I know. And if they were to say, I mean, they already did that China's numbers are not what they say they are. There's a report that came out about it. But even if they were to say the real number, if our intelligence was to say the real number, what would that do? I mean, it would, of course, get us angry at China. Maybe we'd be more open to President Trump, like asking for reparations. But I don't know. He's going to do it anyways.
Yeah, I don't know.
And we're going to eat it up because China's going to pay our UBI next month.
At the very least, I mean, it's one of those things that we just know that Xi is not a reliable partner. And now that he's stationed himself as a dictator, it's like, I think the whole globe has to now basically turn on him. And that's going to be really strange to watch. But we've said this a few different times. I'm kind of low energy Jeb today.
Yeah, me too. To finish off on like Xi and also like world leaders, it's like, you can be so greedy in these positions. And of course, Xi, who cares so little about his people, is going to be greedy.
Of course. Yeah, well, I mean, and again, too, it's like, there's also, I mean, people talk about China's massive wealth, too, but it's like, their currency is also extremely fiddled with. Like, their numbers are, there's just, you can't trust anything.
And yes, they have like maybe the largest GDP in the world, but if you look at it per capita, it doesn't come close to us. It's like half of ours per capita, I think. Right. Which is a very good reading in basic macroeconomics, which I just finished this semester, thank God. It's a very good reading of the quality of life of like the average person. So yes, their GDP is great, but per capita it's not, and that's a great indication of how the people there are treated and living.
Of course, yeah, and that's like actually a pretty good model to follow to kind of like know what the quality of life is for the populace. Red Mage says, "Should we clap? Please clap."
Please clap.
Gio says, "I liked Xi Jinping much better when he used to eat honey with his pal Piglet." Do you know that he banned like the image of that? It's so fucking funny.
Yeah, dude. We should just blast it out there.
Dab says, "Do you know someone's profile picture says nothing about who you are as a person?" Well, yeah. For example, my profile picture is lots of Photoshop. You don't need to do that. You don't have wrinkles yet. You don't have to worry about
when
that
you're
shit.
Youthful, there's no reason. Although, speaking of wrinkles, I can't wait to be old and have laugh lines, because it's going to show that I just enjoyed my life for all of my life,
Yeah, I think it's a good thing to have. Yes, you'll have some good ones.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm trying to get as many as possible before I turn 25.
Oh, you'd be weathered by 25.
I want to be, yeah. I want to look like I'm 38.
Well, we're sorry about whoever we offended. Not really sorry.
Why would we be sorry? Yeah. Jesus. Come back next time. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, right. You can hate watch us too. That's fine. Which I think some people probably do.
Good.
Because I think there was like a person that followed us just to downvote things for a little while there.
Yeah.
It's probably. I remember. I think the one DR removed was the Candace Owens one, just because the title was so inflammatory and like she's just got such a loyal fan base of people. Even though I just think she's a fraud.
Yeah. From this point on, I mean, we're not gonna fucking be offended when somebody downvotes us.
No. I never really was.
I welcome it. I
Yeah.
want them to.
Yeah. It's
All
better,
press is good press.
It's better than the comments we get on BitChute. When the Unknowny jokes about me being a Jared Taylor devotee, if you saw the comments on our BitChute, you might actually start to believe it. That place is a Nazi fest.
Do they think that we're like spokespeople for?
They just literally they go off titles and then they make up their mind
And they hear what they want to hear.
Yeah.
And so yeah, of course. It's not indicative of our videos at all, really.
It's just still a trash platform. I would like for it to be a more viable option at some point, but I don't really know how tech companies solve this problem. Like Twitter was proposing the idea of having like two types of Twitter, like the Wild West Twitter and then your safe space Twitter, which I think is a decent idea. I think that every platform is going to probably have to introduce this at some point because it's like deciphering between like edgy boy jokes and like actual racism is the lines are so blurry at this point that it's like
right. What we're saying is we're actually racist.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah. And and then he also brought up Stefan Molyneux, who I think is such a fucking dork.
Oh.
It's like his faux sincerity that just makes me so crazy. Like he actually cares. Like he's like, I'm going to give you these race statistics because I really feel badly for the black community. I'm like, no, you don't.
No, you don't. They have no weight on you. It's like you don't care about black people at all.
Dab asked if you ever had braces.
Yes, I had braces for like 4 years. It was maybe 3. I think I got them at like sorry. I didn't mean to kick the table. I got them at like 10, got them off at 13. I think freshman year they were off. But yeah, my bottom teeth are falling a little out of line now because I stopped wearing my retainer. I don't think I need to.
No, my bottom teeth are fucked up, and I don't really care.
My bottom teeth aren't too bad, and I still have my retainer, so if they do start to get bad, I can just throw it back on. I also have like a great dentist who will do that for free. They'll resize my retainer. But yeah, I did have braces, and that was a big part of growing up and my self-esteem and stuff.
Tom says he'll send you some of his laugh lines.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Tom. I would love that.
Dab says, have you ever tried screaming into a microphone? Don't. I'm wearing headphones. No, I'm a sound engineer, and I hate when TikTokers or like Twitch streamers do that and like clip the microphone. It's not funny.
No, it's not.
It's done for like in lieu of humor, and it's the most unfunny, annoying thing. So no, we won't ever scream into the microphone.
No real scream.
And if I do, then you just like you push it away.
Of course,
you know?
you go away.
Yeah.
Go away.
And then Gio says you have the best smile.
Thank you, Gio.
And
That's very sweet.
Good way to close it. We'll see you guys Friday, and then if not, then we'll see you Wednesday for the Steve Cox interview.
Yes. See you then. Goodbye.
Adios.